So you're thinking about moving to Northern Colorado, or maybe you live here already and you're curious about what's going on in the real estate market. Well, you're going to want to stick around because in this video, I'm going to go through the October 2023 Northern Colorado Real Estate Market Report. This is an unbelievable report that contains so much information, which for you as a homeowner or a potential homeowner really should know about. So let's jump into it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Northern Colorado, then make sure and subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you'll be one of the first to know about the current market here in Northern Colorado. My name is Jeff and I get calls, texts, and emails from people like you all the time who are looking to make their move or move out of Northern Colorado, and I absolutely love it. So whether you're thinking about moving in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, or schedule a Zoom down in the description below, and I'll look forward to connecting with you. So in today's video, we're going to go through the current market in Northern Colorado. Now, whether you're thinking about moving right now or sometime in the future or never, right now is an absolutely crucial and really important time to know what's going on in the real estate market locally. Now, we've heard a lot of things about what's going on nationally. Interest rates are up. There's a lot of inventory out there. Buyers are waiting on the fence. Sellers aren't selling. Well, there's actually a lot more going on than what you see on the national level. So today we're going to break it down on the local level. And if you stick around until the end, I'm going to share with you a few resources that you can use on your own to be able to see what's going on in the market. Let's jump right into the report. This report is provided by the Fort Collins Board of Realtors. They do release this each month, and it includes data from the following cities: Berthoud, Boulder, Fort Collins, Greeley, Johnstown, Longmont, Loveland, Wellington, and Windsor. So we're going to go over the general data, the averages for all 9 of these cities. We're going to break it down also by location. I'm not going to go through all of the data because there's a ton. I'm going to point out the most important things that everybody who's thinking about moving to Northern Colorado or moving out should know about when either buying a home or selling a home. All right. So first of all, we want to look at the activity snapshot right here, the general numbers for what's going on in the market as of last year at this time. So we're seeing a 15.3% reduction in sold listings in single family homes, an increase of 26% in days on market from last year at this time. This is going to come into play in the rest of this report. So pay attention to this number so you can see how it correlates to some of the other important data that you really should be keeping an eye on. There's also been a 1.2% increase in our property values and the sales price. So believe it or not, and aside from everything you may be hearing in the media as far as a market crash and an adjustment and so forth, we are seeing an adjustment, but not a crash. Our values are still going up. Homes are selling for more. However, they're taking longer to sell, as you can see here. Real quick on October's numbers, as far as new listings, they were down 7.2% for single family homes, but an increase of 60% for townhomes and condos. 60%. I think that's something to make you say, I think we need to keep an eye on that. And yes, you do. 153 single family homes sold and 54 townhomes. We already talked about these numbers here. I think what's important to also understand, median sales price is $581,920. That's above the national average, and we're sitting in a great spot when it comes to our property values here in Northern Colorado. We talked about days on market increasing, but they decreased for townhomes. So there's a correlation in the number of townhomes sold and the percent decrease, okay? We're not going to go over the total housing numbers for the year. If you'd like to go over some of those numbers or you want each one of these reports, again, you can download that down in the description. It's a simple PDF, and you can have this entire report to yourself. All right, so let's go ahead and clear this out. We're going to move over to the next page here. We're going to talk about the, sorry. we got to clear this out. We're going to go over a single family overview, a townhome overview, an overall number of sales, listings, averages, medians, and something that's really important is the affordability index. This is a major, major indicator of how healthy the housing market is in any particular location. We're going to get to that in just a minute. Now, each one of these slides, as far as the overviews, is going to look fairly the same. One of the things I think is really important to recognize is this rolling pattern year over year, as you can see. This is called seasonality. Now, within these peaks and valleys, you'll see that there's, some discrepancies between year from year, right? And as you can see here, this peak is a lot lower than the ones before. And you'll see that pattern. It doesn't matter which one of these graphs you look at, you're going to see that pattern. Median sales price is a little bit different. But overall, when you look at these, there's a pattern. There's a pattern, and it's seasonality. Okay, you can see actually here, we'll get to this in a minute, where this is a flip. I mentioned to you the affordability index. Okay, you can see a very large slope here. You don't see this in any of the other graphs here. So to point out some major numbers, we showed the days on market earlier, 26%. But you can see how this looks in the graph. Really, at this time each year, we should be a lot lower as far as days on market, but we're a lot higher, all right? So this is obviously a matter of concern for some people, especially if you're thinking about selling. Just understand things are taking longer, especially if you want top dollar. We talk more about in other videos on how you can do that in prepping your house and making sure you're prepared for this market. But 26% there, that's really the biggest number besides the months of supply. That is up 35%. Now, I want to take just a moment to explain months of supply and how that factors in. Real quick, an even market, a balanced market. You hear about a seller's market, a buyer's market. A balanced market is a 6-month supply of inventory. Right now, we're sitting at 2.7. Last year at this time, we were sitting at 2.0. So we've increased by almost 30% year over year, 35% actually. Duh, the number's right there. So again, look at the graph here. This is what we're sitting on, you guys, right here. This is why there's all this talk about the housing market crash, because there's a heavy supply of inventory, a lack of buyer demand because of high interest rates, and that's causing pressure and this bubble to build. Okay, so these are the main numbers here. Not a whole lot else has changed. Sold listings are down, again, because it's taking longer for these homes to sell. But at the same time, our median sales price is still continuing to go up. Okay, it's actually down a little bit from last year at this time, but excuse me, that's year to date. This is our year to date column. That's the other thing I wanted to point out. Year to date over here, and then last year at this time in this category, in this column here. All right. So if you guys are all following me here, let's go ahead and clear this out. We're going to move on to the townhome style. And you can see there's obviously a lot of the same, as we mentioned before, the rolling slope, but it doesn't follow the same general pattern that the single family does. It's a lot more jagged, if you noticed. There's a lot more variability in the condo market. But once again, if we look at the affordability index, even though it's jumped around and hasn't been as much of a steady decline as the single family over the course of the last 2 years, it's come down 5.9%, not over the last few years, but from October of last year. All right. But look at this again. This plays in so heavily into everything. Months of supply, 52% up, 22% on active listings are up, 60% new listings. We talked about that before. So if you're in the townhome market, these numbers are actually pretty extravagant, I guess you could say. That might not be the right word, but we haven't seen this. If we draw a line straight across here, that's not a straight line by any means. Let me go ahead and draw this a little bit better. But if we come across here, you can see that we are actually a lot lower than we've been historically at this time each year, right? This October, this October, this October, and here we are down here for this October. All right, so there's the townhome count condo activity review. All right, let's move on to new listings. All right, so new listings, you can see this is for October right here for single family homes. This is for 2021, 22, and 23. So we had a slight increase in new listings in October in 2020 from 2021 to 2022. And now, of course, they're coming down. Townhomes, we talked about that before. They're going back up. This is a big jump in the number of listings. Year to date, these were the numbers I alluded to a little bit before. See the trend here? That's my little doot noise. They're moving down. And of course, the condos and townhomes are really following the same trend that you see over here. Each one of these moving forward slides will show you the different months and the percent changes. And you can see here, there's not a huge drastic numbers. This one, 31.1% from December of last year. That's obviously a big number. And again, that's due to the increased number of listings that are on the market and how long they're taking to sell. And then the year over year changes on the condos is on this side, single family on this side. Now, if you're downloading this report and as I go through it, what you want to be looking for are the major swings. And you'll see these again, somewhat due to seasonality. Now, if again, month by month, look at how this line, if you go straight across, it hits right at the beginning of every year. Okay. We spike and then we dip. We spike and then we dip. We spike and then we dip, and we follow that. But if you look overall, we're a lot lower here. If we follow this line all the way across here, okay, we haven't seen this number in a very long time. What we've been seeing year over year over year over year, we had a dip, of course, right here with COVID, but even from the rebound there, and we even saw it go down and then down, and now look at where we are. Okay, so that's how it's going to look for each one of these slides moving forward. This is for new listings. Oops, I need to get rid of that. All right, pending sales. I'm looking at the numbers here over on the right. You can see from November of last year, 37% down. Oops, I didn't bring my annotation in here. I'm going to make the rest of these fairly quick so we can jump right into some of the different locations that I mentioned. I'll go through the 9 cities. I'm not going to go into specific detail, but I want to show you where those major swings are and how they're impacting your specific market that you live in, or maybe where you're thinking about moving to. All right, so pending sales, you can see year over year has dropped. It did pop up from 2022 to 2023, but again, year to date, we're on the sliding scale, right? In 2021, 2,700 sales. We're almost at the end of the year, and we're only at 1,800 for single family. That's a big, massive swing. You can see that right there. These are the big numbers that we're talking about from 2022 to 2023 in the last year. Okay, year over year change for townhomes, year over year change for single family. Again, the big number here was November. That seemed to be the big swinging point. These are seasonality numbers again for the summer that we see. And then in October, we've actually seen an increase in the number of pending sales. How cool is that? So when we look back at this graph again, we can see we're actually a little bit higher here than we have been over the last few years, which is always a good sign to see that pending sales are increasing, but they're still taking longer to sell. All right. Hope this is all making sense. If you have any questions, make sure and use the comments down below. Ask your questions down there. If there's a specific location that you're looking for more information about, we can get that to you as well. All right, so we clear that out. Let's move on to the next slide here, which is sold listings. And you can see once again, I think this is probably the biggest thing to be looking at, and the big takeaway is for single family homes, the massive slide that we keep seeing. These big reductions in the number of sold listings. And you'll see it over it's affecting the townhomes a lot more. And again, we saw that 60% increase from that first slide if we were to go back to that. So here's where we're sitting now. Once again, we're in a decent spot. except for this 2021 was that COVID. And this was an interesting time as far as the number of sold listings, because it was almost like there was this mad rush to get these homes sold before we had this major shutdown. Okay. And then it continued to increase, and then it of course dropped from there. But you can see overall, when we start looking at these individual peaks and valleys, and that's really what you want to be looking at, are the peaks and then the valleys. And what's the big difference here? Look at what's going on here. This is not really where we want to be. And there's, again, these reasons that I'm showing you here on why this is happening. Let's move on to the next one. That's going to be the median sales price. Now, this is really cool because we've talked about how the market here is not crashing. We are actually increasing. We were 1.2% above where we were last year at this time. Okay. So we are increasing. We are still doing well when it comes to the median sales price. What you can really look at here is this graph. I think that's what's most important. Huge uptick. This was in 2022. We went from 500 to 600 as far as our median sales price. Fast, right? In 2022, that was a massive, massive jump. So we start seeing those numbers here. I mean, we can go back to November to see, like, right before it happened. And then when these massive increases happened, you'll see when the report releases next month where this is. So we've gone down a little bit over the course of the year. Actually, I'm sorry, we have gone up. All right. That's my fault. We've continued to see that increase. I'd be counterproductive or not counterproductive, but I need to stick my foot in my mouth if I wasn't speaking correctly on what we're looking at here. All right, so look at it. I mean, overall, what's the theme here? It's been going up. We're going to see ups and downs throughout our market, but over the course of time, we've held steady. We're doing great. We all should be pretty happy with where our values are at. And yeah, if you're thinking about buying, sure, things are expensive. We understand that. And yet there's ways to be able to get yourself some good deals and get yourself into the best house for you and your family. All right, let's clear this out. Average sales price, again, it's following the same. I don't see any major numbers. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. Percent of list price received. Again, if you look, like, see this big jump right here? This is really cool. Let me show this big jump right here. This big jump right here. You'll see probably when I get onto the next slide. Excuse me, actually, it's right here. So it's correlating with this bump right here. There it is. Okay, you see that bump here again? There it is. Boom. Percent of list price received. We saw a massive, massive year in 2022. This is what we were all excited about. This is what we weren't so excited about. But if you look, we've actually increased and we've hit a good spot here. And that was in June. Of course, we've decreased. We decrease every year from the spikes. That's the seasonality towards the end of the year, right? But we're above where we have been in 18, in 19, in 20. 2021 was where we started to spike up and we had the COVID stuff. This right here, we're not seeing that anymore. But look, we're not in a bad spot. This is what we have to realize. We're not in a bad spot. This is where we were in a bad spot. But we're way ahead of where we were before. Okay, let's clear that out. I want to show you guys some really cool stuff here in a second. Days on market, we talked about that before. They've increased. But we have to look at the history here. Look at days on market in 2020. Holy mackerel. That was only a few years ago. And we're complaining about things taking longer to sell way down here. Now, I get it because we've seen this increase, right? We've seen it twice. But we're not even close to where we were earlier this year. We're still in a really good spot, in a really good market as we head into 2024. This is huge. This is, hopefully you're still watching. And if so, pay very close attention to the housing affordability index here, because this is the name of the game. And if you notice this downward trend, this has started to follow the overall days on market, but of course, an increase here. This is not a great sign to see, you guys. Okay, we've seen it. We saw it bounce around a lot in 2010 through 2014, but it was still like, this was an incredible real estate market. And we've seen the affordability of homes in our area decrease. Now, whether or not you're for supporting or against affordable housing and so forth, this is a problem, right? This number here, it keeps decreasing, the year-over-year change. Now, the Housing Affordability Index measures housing affordability for a reason, okay? An index of 120 means the median household income is 120% of what's necessary to qualify for the median home price under current interest rates. A higher number means greater affordability. So at 100%, so an index of 100 means that if an average median income earning family can afford a median income family house, right? The Housing Affordability Index above 100 means that a family earning a median income has more than enough to qualify for a mortgage loan on a median priced home. Below 100 is, of course, the exact opposite there. So we're really sitting at, I believe it's like right around 60%. And years ago, we were like almost at 250%. Everybody could buy a home back then. Remember that? Now it's a lot tougher because of interest rates, the economy, a number of factors out there. That doesn't mean that it's still not possible. It doesn't mean that it's still not possible, but less people are able to afford homes now. That's when, so when interest rates go down, this will start to go back up. More people will be able to afford a home and it will really stimulate the real estate market. So again, this is something to really keep your eye on, whether it's nationally, whether it's locally, and how that affects you and your purchasing power, and or if you're selling, how that's going to affect the current market that your home is going to be entering in as far as getting it sold. All right. If this is all making sense and you enjoy this, go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you think about this report, and let me know if there's anything else you want me to go over, anything else you want me to answer. I'm not going to go over inventory of active listings. We've talked about month supply of inventory. Here are the all properties overview. Actually, I do want to take a moment to mention this here. Look at these numbers. And if you recall in the previous slide, I circled or squared or whatever shape that is around these numbers before because of November 2022, December, January, February, and March into this year. Even April and May, 75, 100, 73, 35% makes us look good from a year-over-year change. So our supply of inventory for the last few months has been basically ranging about the same as far as 50%, 50%. We've dropped a little bit. All right. So that means we have even less. And as you can see here, inventory is dropping. However, again, if we were to draw a straight line-ish across, whoops, see how I'm going up automatically? We're actually in a good spot versus where we were in 2021. Okay, we had way less inventory back here. So we actually have more inventory. But if we're just looking at this year and seeing what the trend has been, yes. You know, we went up in inventory, it's been sitting, and now it's kind of, you know, teetering a little bit. So it's actually coming down. All right, so months of supply and inventory there. This is the all properties overview. Again, days on market is the main one here. I'm not going to go over the sold listings. The glossary of terms is included in this report. And again, most importantly, I think to remember is this housing affordability index. Whoops. This right here, making sure you understand what that means and how that affects. Okay. Basically, lower than 100 is not good. 100 is where we want to be, and anything above that is really good. But as we've all seen, what goes up must come down. And in this case, it came down quickly. So we start off with Berthoud. You've seen the numbers generally speaking, so you know how these reports work. This is for Berthoud. This one is for Boulder. And you're going to see some similar numbers as far as the trends. Obviously, the averages are going to be a lot more, right? I mean, the average price, median sales price in Berthoud at 670,000, but you get to Boulder, it's 1.525 million. Whoops, sorry. All right. Fort Collins, 580,000. Greeley, 439. Johnstown, 500. Longmont, 675. Loveland, 530,000. Wellington, 482,500. Windsor, 602,500. Again, back to Boulder. Not sure why we have Boulder again, but we're going to stop on Windsor here. These are all of the reports. Again, it covers 9 different cities. I release this report every month. If you'd like a copy of it, go ahead and comment down below and I will email this out to you. I'll be releasing a video every single month going over these reports and especially talking about last month. Right? We can always refer back to what we're talking about here for the month of October. I really appreciate you watching. Once again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about the local real estate market here in Northern Colorado, make sure and subscribe down below. Tap the bell for notifications so you'll be one of the first to know about what's going on in the local market here in Northern Colorado. Thanks for watching, and until next time, we'll see you soon.